Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to tonight's special Sunday broadcast. We have new details coming out from the Trump rally assassination attempt. I'm going to be going through those. I'm also going to be reacting to different people on the internet that I respect: Candace Owens, Dan Bongino, a few others. So I want to jump into this and get you guys this new information about the Trump assassination and what we know now that a day has gone by. This is a major, major security failure and possibly a scandal. More details do need to come out, but let me share with you what I have been learning today. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Thank you for joining me. Last night, I was able to last minute interview one of the former Secret Service for three different presidents, Ken Valentine. So go watch that. He gave some incredible insight of things that I was not aware of, that I think that my community would find very interesting. So let's jump into what we know so far. So it's just now coming out within the last hour or so that a police officer who is unnamed at this point saw the shooter over on the roof, which was about between 150 to 200 yards away from where President Donald Trump was speaking in Butler, Pennsylvania. There were people in the audience outside of the gates that were telling the police and the Secret Service, there's somebody on the roof with a gun. There's someone with a gun. There's somebody on the roof. A police officer went over in between the two buildings. They found a ladder. This police officer, we're now learning, climbed this ladder. And when he did, the shooter threatened to blow the police officer's head off. So he went down, radioed it in, and let them know. At the same time, people were shouting, pointing out that there was a gunman. This is what put the Secret Service around Trump on high alert as they were hearing that in their headphones. Also, the two counter snipers that were on the roof were looking in. Okay. The other thing that we are now learning is that the very position that Matthew Crooks took shots at President Trump and ultimately killed one of the people in the crowd, that this is an exact place that Secret Service should have had their own counter sniper. So there should have been one from Trump's vantage point going down, looking out. There should have also been one from where the shooter was. There should have been a Secret Service person there pointing in, and that would have prevented a lot of this. So I'm going to jump into more and more details with you. But what I'm thinking is happening, and again, I'm just speculating, but this is what I believe is happening. There is a mixture of trained Secret Service, and there is a mixture of private hired security. I believe that there is also a breakdown in the protocol of the Secret Service based on the leadership of the Secret Service. I'm going to let Dan Bongino cover more of that, but right now, we're just, again, finding out that a police officer encountered the man with the gun on the roof. He threatened his life. He got down. He called it in. This raised awareness. Also, from that vantage point, there should have been Secret Service snipers up on those roofs. So last night, Donald Trump, after being rushed to the hospital, had his ear repaired. And once the doctors had cleared him, he got on to Trump Force One, and he actually flew and kept his commitment to go to the UFC fight with Dana White. And they were already there talking about it. So he went, he continued to do the fist pump, and the crowds went absolutely crazy. People were dedicating fights to him. You have billionaire Bill Ackman has come out and officially endorsed Donald Trump. He says, I know I'm going to lose friends over this. I know that I know that people are going to be mad at me. I may lose business deals, but the country means more to me than pretending like I am satisfied with President Joe Biden. At the same time, you have all of these Trump-hating Democrats, people with Trump derangement syndrome, that have been calling him Hitler, worse than Mussolini, worse than Mao, worse than communist Russia. They're now saying, oh, our prayers are with Donald Trump. We're so sorry. You have, at the same time, you have the media pretending like this is not a big deal. Trump rally canceled, some of them said. Trump leaves rally early after falling. Trump leaves after being spooked by loud noises. Like, a president of the United States nearly had his brains blown out. He cocked his head in a miraculous microsecond move, which then let the bullet blast through his ear, saving his life. And these people are going on saying, oh, our prayers are with you. Violence is never good. Well, I believe that they are full of crap. And I want to walk through with you why I think that Donald Trump has people that are trying to attack him. So let's watch this together.
You got to be ready to throw a punch. You have to be ready to throw a punch.
Donald Trump, I think you need to go back and punch him in the face.
That I thought he should have punched him in the face.
Feel like punching him.
I'd like to take him behind the gym if I were in high school.
If we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
No, I wish we were in high school. I could take him behind the gym.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
Take him out now.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
And you push back on them, and you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
Please, get up in the face of some Congress people.
People will do what they do.
I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price.
We're going to go in there, we're going to...
This is just a warning to you Trumpers. Be careful. Walk lightly. And for those of you who are soldiers, make them pay.
If you had to be stuck in an elevator with either President Trump, Mike Pence, or Jeff Sessions, who would it be? Does one of us have to come out alive?
Oh, wow. Okay, I did not see that last part. Oh, my gosh. So these members of Congress, these Democrat leaders, they go on Twitter and they tell their followers. Now, I didn't know this because I follow a lot of libertarians and conservatives and Republicans, right? But as I've started to dig in on this story, the algorithm switched and it started showing me what Democrats are seeing on Twitter. And it's literally full of violence. They're telling their voters to get in our face, to hurt us, to tell us we have no place in our country, to hurt the president, to get violent, to fight back. I mean, no wonder their followers now are saying, wait a minute, Joe Biden is saying that somebody needs to put a bullseye on President Trump. This is absolutely disgusting. I wanted to show this to you guys so that you don't think I'm making this up. They're literally calling for violence against Donald Trump, against the Trump family. They're calling for violence against you and me. It's absolutely disgusting. Now, here's a concern that I have. So we're being told now that the FBI and the Secret Service are going to do a joint investigation. Here's my concerns, right? The FBI is the organization that covered up the Hunter Biden laptop in order to select and to plant and to place Joe Biden in office. This same FBI, we now know, infiltrated the January 6th crowd and was muckraking and rabble-rousing and getting people all excited and telling them go into the Capitol and to be violent against the police. This same FBI is the same group that's not looking for the January 6th pipe bomber anymore. Oh, well, we have all this footage, but, that's just old news. And this same FBI that raided Donald Trump's home and was given permission by Alejandro Mayorkas and Christopher Wray and the White House to use force, to open fire on the Trump family if necessary. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, how can the FBI give us a solid investigation when there are people within the organization whose investigations tried to put Trump in jail, tried to have his family killed? It's insane. It's absolutely insane. So don't fall for it. But the FBI, they are going to be investigating this alongside Secret Service. Now, the head of the Secret Service, she is being asked to step down. So far, she has not stepped down. Here's something else that's really worrisome for me. It took hours, multiple hours, for President Biden to comment on his predecessor nearly having his head blown off. Like, if this had been Barack Obama or this had been George W. Bush, like they would not have waited hours and hours to react. And these news companies, you better believe they wouldn't be saying things like, Trump leaves the rally early because he falls down. These are just out and out lies. So I wish I had better news for you, but it's the FBI that a lot of us used to love and be proud of, but now we've lost faith in them. It's absolutely crazy. All right, I'm gonna react with you to Candace Owens about this situation. So let me go ahead and roll that now.
You have got to be kidding me. Let me say something right now. Take this to the bank, okay? That person was allowed to scale that roof, okay? I am not some individual who's trying to assess a situation and had never been around the president of the United States. While Trump was in office, okay, I was around him a lot. And let me tell you something. The Secret Service, there's no person that can get around the perimeter of the Secret Service where Donald Trump is without them being aware of it. I am not kidding when I say that my husband once almost got shot by the Secret Service because he came down a staircase. I was speaking at the NRA, and he snaked in and came down, and they didn't know who he was. And they were like, freeze, 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 freeze. Like, we will shoot you right now. So you're telling me that guy walked up and was trying to get the attention? The Secret Service saw him, and he's pointing, and he's saying, this guy's got a gun, this guy's got a gun, and they're pretending they don't know what's going on? I mean, am I crazy? Do you guys actually believe this was a failure in intelligence? All of these Secret Service agents crawling around, if you don't think, just what the guy said, that is common sense, okay? They're trying to now tell us that common sense is a conspiracy. That is the new thing that they're trying to tell the public. Common sense is a conspiracy. You're telling me this guy was able to walk up with a rifle in his hand and scale a roof, and you don't think the Secret Service, let me tell you, they get there days before. Let me tell you how a security apparatus is supposed to run. Days before, they get in and they look at every possible angle in which somebody could hurt the president, okay? And I'm not even talking about once you get to the Secret Service. I'm talking about if you just have security in general. Before you speak, they will go, hey, this is the stage? Okay, let me tell you. That right there is a problem. They'll mark that as a spot. That right there is a problem. That right, we need to know who this person is. They'll knock on doors, okay? They got to figure out every possible angle that any individual could potentially get on a roof, because you know what?
Okay, listen. The place where the shots were fired from was the most perfect place that you could have taken shots. It was between 150 to 200 yards. It was an angled roof to give you, to block visibility from the crow's nest where the two counter snipers were. It had a perfectly clear shot to Donald Trump's head or body or whatever it was. And it's the exact spot that they should have been watching, should have been checking, and should have been double checking. Like, there should have been somebody right there watching. In fact, from everything that I'm reading and researching, it's the exact place that they should have had counter snipers. Now I'm going to talk more about that, but let's finish up with Candace here.
Talking about once you get to the Secret Service. I'm talking about if you just have security in general. Before you speak, they will go, hey, this is the stage. Okay, let me tell you. That right there is a problem. They'll mark that as a spot. That right there is a problem. That right, we need to know who this person is. They'll knock on doors. Okay, they got to figure out every possible angle that any individual could potentially get on a roof. Because you know what? This has happened in the past. People have been shot from roofs. People have been shot from windows. There was a 0% chance that some random person with a rifle was able to scale a roof, unless there was just an unbelievable failure in intelligence. And you want to know why it's unbelievable? Because I don't effing believe it. I don't believe it. I want the names of the Secret Service agents that allowed this remarkable security failure to go down. Because I don't believe this. I'm done with this. I don't believe this, not for 1 second. Having been around the president, having literally almost watched my husband get shot because he came down the wrong set of stairs at the NRA, screaming at him. And I jumped in front of him like, don't shoot him. That's my husband. And you're telling me they knew he was going to speak and they weren't worried about the roofs? A roof with an angle to shoot the president. This guy says 50 yards away. He watched this.
Okay. Wow. So her personal experience is when they were guarding Trump, when the people that care about Trump, I should say, were guarding Trump, nobody got in. They would have checked every single spot. Something is very suspicious. Please. Last night, I saw many of you complimenting me that I didn't bring conspiracy in, that I didn't do hyperbole. Many of you, were watching Benny Johnson. He had 47,000 people on, but the hyperbole I thought was over the top. So I don't try to do that. I just try to bring you guys the facts, and I don't know all the answers. So I don't come on here as if I'm your guru or the best of the best. Like I'm learning a lot of this at the same time that you guys are. But let me know over in the comments, please. Is this suspicious to you? If it is, type S. If it's normal, I want you to type N. For me, like my BS detector is going off. This seems suspicious. Something is not right here. We've been lied to so many times, and they hate Donald Trump so much. Like I didn't realize. That's why I showed you guys that video earlier. I didn't realize just how much the Democrats are putting out talking points and propaganda and sound bites and sound clips to hurt conservatives, that we are as bad as the Nazis, that we are horrible, that we deserve to be hurt, that we have no place in our own country. I didn't realize that. No wonder they're so violent. They're literally 24 hours a day stirring up the hornet's nest. You guys are typing SSSSS like crazy. Yes, very, very suspicious. Yes, I saw that the shooter was in a BlackRock commercial earlier this year. Very, very crazy. All right, now, I think what they're going to find is that Biden's head of the DHS, the Department of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, the man single-handedly in charge of the border invasion. So he is the one directly allowing the border invasion. Kamala Harris is doing nothing as vice president, and Joe Biden is doing nothing as vice president. That's a side issue, but that's who Alejandro Mayorkas is, right? We are going to find out that he has been purposely withholding security detail and also technology from President Donald Trump in order to endanger his life. You mark my words, that's what they're going to find. Now, they're doing this to RFK Jr., who you guys know I like. I'm not voting for him, but I like him a lot. And he has been saying that Biden is purposely endangering his life. Why? So that he has to spend millions and millions of dollars a month on private security. And they're trying to drain his ad budget. They're trying to drain his travel budget so that Biden can win. It is disgusting what this administration is doing. This is what we're going to find that they are doing to Donald Trump. We're going to find out that they have been withholding this information. Well, we already know that they are, right? Reports started to come out in the middle of the night that Mayorkas, the Trump team, has asked Mayorkas multiple times for multiple months, we need more manpower. We need more guns. We need more technology like drones, infrared, snipers. We need all of this. And they have told him no. And even though his threat level has gone up, they have told him no. So that's what I believe that we're going to find, right? Now, again, what I'm learning from listening to other people is that the Trump shooter, Matthew Crooks, fired shots from the very crow's nest the Secret Service should have had a counter shooter on. So it's absolutely crazy. Now, I'm going to show you kind of a long clip from Dan Bongino, and I'm going to interrupt, if it's okay, to react to it, but I wanted to share this with you guys.
On this, Dan, just continue where you left off on the reaction here.
So again, open security questions right now, and this is why, again, I think the Secret Service, the PR, Anthony Guglielmi, has to be very careful about what they put out. You know, he says in his X post, and you can read it yourself, you don't need to hear it from me, that they deployed these extra resources and technology. Okay, well, which ones? You're telling me the best technology you have was deployed and you missed a shooter 130 yards? Say it was 200 yards. The Secret Service CS team, Pete, the counter sniper teams, and I'm not sure those two guys are Secret Service. We have to remember that we don't always, when we go to New York sometimes with high-level protectees, we'll use NYPD ESU counter sniper. So I'm not really.
Can somebody look this up and let me know in the comments? Were the two counter snipers on the roof by Trump, were those Secret Service, or were they contracted shooters, as Dan Bongino is saying right here? I don't have the answer, but I think that would be very interesting, because what we might find is if they aren't Secret Service, that they are not given 100% green light authority in order to take people out, to remove threats. Someone says YouTube is censoring your comments. Dang it. Why aren't you allowing us to send messages? I'm not blocking anything. It would not shock me. They don't want this information out. You guys, I just showed you videos of how often the Democrats are calling for violence against you and me. It's crazy. Okay, let me keep going.
Really sure either way they'd still be briefed in. The question we have to ask is, if that's the best technology we have, and we had a CS team up there with a shooter that, you know, we're trained out to 1,000 yards in the Secret Service with the counter sniper team, how did they miss someone at most, you know, 1/5 of the way there? It doesn't make any sense. And even worse, it's broad daylight on a white roof. So again, open questions here. Was there forward-looking infrared deployed? Was there aerial support, drones, helicopters? You know, something happened too. If you go back and listen to the audio, I want you to listen to this after I get off here. When Donald Trump, after this tragic thing happens, you'll see the Secret Service agents. And by the way, I know some of those guys personally. It takes a lot to run into bullets, divorcing the security failure. So at least they did that part, you know, correctly, and they knew what they were doing after the security absolutely failed. But you're going to hear something if you listen closely. The guy mentions Hawkeye on the scene. He's talking about those two, the black BDU with the tactical gear CAT element, that two-man CAT element. That stands for Counter Assault Team. That's a Secret Service Special Weapons Team, equivalent to our SWAT. So they're there. They all deployed and did what had to be. That the bunting around the front of the stage is probably armor. Donald Trump knew to duck. I mean, most people would. He saved his own life. That's just a fact. The evacuation did not go right. I mean, the rule with the
there's your cognitive test right there, right? Trump saves his own life because he remembered that everything around him was bulletproof. So he drops to the ground and holds his head. At this point, he doesn't know if he's missing brain matter, his skull. He knows his ear's been ripped off. There's also some question on whether he was shot in the suit coat and if he was wearing a bulletproof vest. I don't have an answer on that. You guys are saying that comments are being suppressed. I'm sorry, I can't do anything about YouTube or their algorithm, but here, let's keep going.
Secret Service is cover the protectee and evacuate. The other rule is maximum to the protectee, minimum to the problem. Why minimum to the problem? Because you don't know that's the only problem.
Okay, Dan Bongino makes a really good point. Even though you and I love seeing, Trump, he's, let me get my shoes, and then he stands up and he says, fight, fight, fight. That broke the protocol. They should have covered him. They should have knocked him to the ground if he wasn't comporting himself correctly, but they allowed that. And like Dan Bongino says, even though they said the shooter has been taken out, they don't know that there's not a second or third shooter at this point, right? And so he's saying this is another failure.
Could be a distraction. There could be another person in the crowd. So if you don't jump on the protectee, you could be looking at multiple shooters. So at least that part, the guys there, stepped up there. But the failure here is absolutely catastrophic. And I got to tell you, the Secret Service should be very careful. I can tell you and absolutely confirm from the horse's mouth, from multiple people, not just one. And I saw Congressman Waltz text this out before on X. There have been repeated requests to increase the security footprint around not just the residences of Donald Trump, but the body itself. And they have been rebuffed. Like I said, I can tell you actual quotes. The Secret Service directors completely failed and candidly should resign today. Kim Cheadle has failed Donald Trump and honestly failed Joe Biden, too. He's the president right now. Where's the DHS secretary? I mean, this is...
Yeah, the DHS secretary making no comments, not saying we're going to beef this up, not saying in light of this, we're going to get Donald Trump even more security, RFK Jr., more security, Biden, more security. This is craziness.
You're blaming it on manpower? So just to be clear, we're a $4 trillion United States government, and we can't fork over enough money to keep our people alive? And then you're sending out tweets like, oh, this is the best technology we have. Really? To let a sniper 150 yards away from the potential next president shoot a piece of his ear off? That's your victory lap?
All right, I'm going to come back on that. I want to hear from you guys over in the comments. There have been upwards of a dozen elected officials in the Democrat Party that have said things such as, I can't believe they missed. The shooter had one job. This is bad, but not for the reason you think. Like horrible, disgusting things, wishing evil on President Donald Trump. Do you think that those people should be removed from office? This is disgusting. Can you imagine if they were calling for hit jobs on Biden? But because it's Donald Trump, they get away with it. It's just so disgusting to me. I think that they should be forced out of office. Many of them quickly deleted their entire Twitter account because they're embarrassed, and they should be embarrassed.
Give me a break, man.
Dan, I mean, you bring up so many amazing points, and I just don't even know where to begin except to ask you, why would the Secret Service not beef up more security for the man who is most likely to be assassinated in the entire world? Why would they not deploy more resources? Why weren't there drones over? Is it that this woman, Kimberly Cheadle, the director, is incompetent? Could there be something else there? What is happening? Is it DEI? What's going on?
Well, Rachel, it's my job, if I'm going to give an opinion, to back it up. Opinions are like holes, right? Everybody has one. The difference between one opinion over the other in a courtroom and anywhere else is, can you back it up? I want everyone at home, go on your phone or computer now, and I want you to look up U.S. Secret Service, red ties, Donald Trump. Yeah, read it. The Secret Service was more concerned about protective agents around Donald Trump. If you think I'm making this up, Go to a left-wing search engine if you think I'm biased. Go to Scroogle and put it. Oh, you're reading a story right now. They were more concerned about the color of the Secret Service agents' ties around Donald Trump, given the perception that a red tie was somehow. I've got red ties. I'm a Republican. It has nothing to do with it. I just like red ties. They go nice with white shirts. That's an actual. Oh, you see it right now. I'm not crazy. This is what the Secret Service was concerned about. They put out, 1,000 tweets about all of this DEI stuff. Do I know that's related here? I don't. I'm just saying, you have one job and only one job. Your job is keep the body alive no matter what. Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Jill Biden, the president of Djibouti, it doesn't matter. That is your job. They absolutely, resolutely, 100% failed. Not a single excuse should be made. Not a single excuse should be attempted. This should be the subject of congressional hearings and investigations.
Okay, let me stop right there. Representative Comer is calling in Cheadle, the head of Secret Service. She's going to be deposed and, for lack of a word, interrogated in front of Congress. They're going to haul in Alejandro Mayorkas. They're going to haul in this whole thing. There's going to be a massive investigation, and Republicans in office, they need to get in front of this and find out what the heck is going on. This cannot be allowed. You guys know I do not like Joe Biden, but I would not want this to happen. I just want him to step down because he has dementia, because I think he's leading the country in the wrong direction. But what happened to Donald Trump does not need to happen to anybody else.
Because if they can't do this, and this is the best technology you had, then folks, there's no purpose anymore. This isn't the agency I grew up in. It's not. I spent 12 years of my life there, and I'm telling you, I know some of those guys personally. These are good men and women. But this was an apocalyptic security failure. And don't ever forget, an uneventful failure is never a success. And the fact that Donald Trump didn't die yesterday is no reason for anybody to take some kind of victory lap. And before we start sending out plaudits, we better look and do a hot wash on this and find out exactly how abysmal this security plan was.
Well, Wow. Okay, that goes on. Everybody keep in mind, there was a father and a grandfather who lost his life. I believe Trump being alive right now, I believe it was a miracle. I have watched the slowed down footage. He turns and for some reason he cocked his head just a little bit, and it would have blown this part of his skull out. All those brains, the backside would have blown out. Instead, he turns and cocks his head just enough that it comes through, right through his hair, and then out through the ear. I think it was a miracle. I know not everyone that watches me is religious. I don't need you to be religious. I'm telling you, the timing on this, wow, unbelievable. But with that said, one person gets a miracle, another family did not. The Trumps are right now through GoFundMe raising money. Last I checked, they had raised over $300,000 for the family that lost their husband, their father, their grandfather. So please keep that family in your thoughts, your prayers, however you do life. They are deserving of energy towards them. It's just so sad. I'm sure that Trump will be on the phone with their family if he hasn't already, because that's what he does. He goes and has the hard conversations. You guys, wow. I'm so grateful that President Trump is alive. I'm so sad about the people that were injured and the man that lost his life, but we almost witnessed an execution on national live TV in 4K. I mean, this is not like JFK, where the Zapruder film is grainy and there's missing slices. This would have been live TV, 4K quality. Instead, I believe we witnessed a miracle on live TV. Absolutely crazy. Let me read through some of these super chats, and then we'll let you go. It makes sense now that Democrats try to take away Trump's Secret Service. Yes. What's his name? Benny Thompson. Benny Thompson is saying that his Secret Service should have been removed. Well, now we know why they're thinking that. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Why won't they allow me to send a message? I don't know. I don't know why they're suppressing my feed. Makes me angry, but I'm not YouTube. I can't do anything about it. YouTube censoring super chats now. Dang it. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get to these now. Thank you for all you do. When I first found out, I literally started crying. I was so pissed. And yes, I do smell a suspicious issue here. Absolutely. This is very, very suspicious. Cindy, thank you so much for the super chat. Prayers for the family of the man who lost his life and the one who was injured. My understanding is once the bullets, you could hear them, he actually stepped in front of his family like a gosh darn hero. Wow. Pretty incredible. So sad that he has lost his life. Sorry. Whew. All right, Harry, thank you so much. Thank you guys for joining me. I don't usually come on Sundays, but this is the biggest story in the world right now. More to come this week. I've got some incredible interviews about Trump's legal situation, flipping the vote in Virginia, Biden's mental decline. Will Hollywood and the Democrats dump him? So much information I'm going to be sharing with you. Thank you guys so much for supporting this channel. I love you. Stay amazing. I appreciate you guys looking to me as a source of truth. I do my best to honor that every single time I do a broadcast. Again, I apologize if YouTube has been suppressing this. Lexa, thank you so much for the super chat. I love you guys. Thank you. Have a great rest of your Sunday, and I will see you on the next video.